Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah and I like to ramble about books. I am finally back in my reading room. We finished our master bedroom project, at least for the most part. There's still finishing touches like always that need to be done, but for the most part it is done. We are back in there and almost everything is put back in its place. So I got my space back. It's fantastic and I couldn't be happier. I will insert a clip here just to kind of show you guys what everything looks like. I don't know if I've ever shown you what my master bedroom before was, but unfortunately it did not get a before clip. But anyway, here's what that looks like now. So here is our mostly finished master bedroom. The biggest project with all these rooms is changing the walls, because I probably said this in my reading room renovation, but the walls in this place are like this. This is called vinyl and gypsum. There's these fun little seams. So instead of having the wall filled in between the slabs of sheetrock, they just put a seam over it, a seam over it. So you take the seam off and there's just a gap, which is annoying because I feel like it rarely limits where you can put stuff on your walls. So I have to kind of work in between seams, which I hate. So room by room, we're working on taking down the seams. My husband is mudding everything, sanding, and getting everything as flat as he can with the type of sheetrock that's in here. We're limited to how good we can make it look sometimes, but we kind of do what we got. The other option is to completely rip out and replace all the drywall, which honestly we don't really have the budget for. We could over time, but it just takes so much longer. And honestly, we're happy with how these projects have been turning out overall. We did, at least I did, I finished painting and finishing our windowsills. I think the only other thing I have to do is just do some touch-ups around it with the wall paint. Because like, and this is more of a me thing, like right there, I gotta touch up with the wall paint to get really close. But that's not a huge deal. We're gonna get rid of this chair because it doesn't really fit in this room anymore, and honestly was more just like a clothing rack for my husband to lay out his clothes. So kind of unnecessary. I brought this bookshelf in that I had in our den, that once we set up my reading room, I moved all my books over here. But I know myself, and I know I'm probably going to be filling this bookcase, so it's always nice to have a backup. I also have this little shelf that I usually put decor on, so I did put some more backup on it, but I gotta figure out what else I want to put on it. I could also do books here too. I'm not really sure, but we're gonna slide this down once the chair's over here, or out of here. And here we're gonna have our dresser, but his parents have a new dresser and chest of drawers that they never used, so they're gonna give it a test so I can get rid of my old one. And we basically flipped the entire layout of our bedroom, so this was on this wall, my dresser was over there. The way this room is set up with the outlets is it's more designed to be laid out in this way, because there are two outlets where the two nightstands would go, whereas there's just one over here. So we had like a bunch of cords going every which way to plug stuff in. So now it's a little more neat and organized. I got new nightstands too because I just was kind of sick of my old ones. And I didn't even plan this because I honestly don't care. I like mixed material, but it actually matches our headboard pretty well. So that's a win for me, an accidental win. This rug is just taped down because we had it rolled up, so it was sticking up. So we're just trying to keep it flat so it's not a trip hazard. We replaced our registers. This floor is already pretty new from when we moved in. My dad had ripped out the carpet and put the laminate in because the people who lived here, at least one set of the people, because there are multiple families that lived here before us, were smokers. So any carpet in this house had to go because it just reeked of cigarette smoke. But I'm so out of breath. All in all, this is pretty much it. The biggest thing is we just have to do finish work now. So my dad did make us baseboards and door frames, at least the first batch. He's got a ton of pine to work with. So now I have to go through and paint it, and then my husband will go through and put everything up so everything looks nice and seamless. And then at some point we gotta buy some crown molding, paint it, and put that up too. This room did have crown in it, but we did have a leak in the roof, and so one piece got water damaged and destroyed. And the way the crown is in here, there's no way we would be able to get anything that's even close to it because it's basically like, I don't want to say cardboard, but it's really not far off from cardboard. So we're just going to completely replace this room. Other rooms, we'll see if we can salvage what we have in here and make it work. Like, cause this is the bathroom that we still haven't done yet. But like, it doesn't look terrible, but when we take it down and put it back up, it doesn't look the best half the time. So that's just gonna be a work in progress. But anyway, I have my space back. Our bed was in the living room for like 2 or 3 weeks. And most importantly, I have my reading room back because we shoved a ton of shit in here too to be out of the way. So I'm just happy to have my space back. Cats are happy too. There's still a couple things in here like wall hangings and stuff that I gotta get out of here, but we're back. So I am super happy with how everything turned out, and I am even happier to be able to access my space again. So today's video, we are going to be choosing the books for my February TBR. We are going to be doing a combination of TBR jar prompts and also prompts that are in my reading journals. So I have 2 that I'm doing this year. I'm basically doing the same format I did for my January TBR because I really like how that TBR turned out. Goal this month, I think I'm going to keep most months as a goal of 5 books. Maybe some months I might up that, but I think for right now, at least until my baby comes, we're going to shoot for at least 5 books a month. And if we get more, that's great because then I'll be ahead of the game on my goal. I did set a goal this year. If I don't meet it, I'm not going to be surprised because again, I'm having a newborn this year, so that's definitely going to impact my reading in some way, shape, or form. Maybe when he's sleeping, I will read like crazy. Maybe when he's sleeping, I'll be sleeping too, which is probably more likely, but we will see. Anyway, let's just jump into it. I'm going to start with my reading journal prompts. So in this little reading journal that I got from one of my friends, the prompt for February is a pronoun in the title. So he, she, we, they, them, something like that. So let me peruse my shelves and see what we have for options. So honestly, that was a really difficult prompt because I really don't have any books aside from the one I chose that fit that prompt. So we will be reading Her Soul for Revenge by Harley LaRue. I had actually already started this last year. I can't remember which month, but I ended up soft DNFing it. So I kept my bookmark in here since it was pretty recent. It was only a couple months ago. I do remember most of what was going on. I was just having a really hard time getting into it, and I think it was just right book, wrong time. Like, I really loved the first book in the series, Her Soul to Take. So I do want to continue and finish this series. It wasn't vibing at the time I was reading it, and I was just having a really hard time reading it, and it kind of felt like a chore. So that's my sign when I just need to put something down. So hopefully there's been enough time between now and then, and I can just jump right into this. I really haven't read a good dark romance in a while. I think the last one probably was Her Soul to Take. I'm lying though. I did read Taurus Season. That's basically a dark romance, but that one's more of a dark rom-com, so a little bit different vibes. First book on February TBR is Her Soul to Take. I lied. Her Soul for Revenge. All right, moving on to my other reading journal. This one also has a monthly challenge in it. So we have February's Moon Challenge is to read a book with cozy vibes. Oh, man, I don't know how many cozy books I have on my TBR. But again, let's peruse and we'll see what I can deem as cozy. All right, so this was yet another difficult prompt for me. I don't really read a ton of cozy books per se. So the closest thing, and I'm pretty sure this is considered a cozy fantasy, is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I have been wanting to read this for a while now. Oh man, who is it? I think it's Katie is Reading. Loves this series so much, and it does sound interesting to me. I've just been a little hesitant because again, cozy fantasy is not really my thing. I like more of an epic storyline. So we'll give this a shot. Hopefully I like it because I do have the entire trilogy, but if we don't, then it's something that's going to get on hold. I am excited. I'm just a little guarded about it. Now it's time to move on to our TBR prompt jar. We're getting close to the bottom, which I feel like once I finish this, I'm going to put all the other prompts back in here, but if you guys have any recommendations for some good prompts, definitely let me know and I will add some new ones in here. Anyway, let's go ahead and pick our first prompt. If I can grab one. Okay, there's one. Alright, let's see if you guys can see that. I think it's the right way. And we're gonna do a book that was gifted to you. Okay, give me a minute. I have a couple options for this one. Okay, this one was a little bit easier to do. So I have a stack. I'm pretty sure most of these were gifted to me. There's two that are a little questionable, but I am like 95% sure that they were gifted to me. So first up is Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. This one, I can't remember. I know someone just bought this off of my Amazon wishlist. So this is one of the ones I'm like 95% sure was gifted to me. I just can't remember who gifted it to me, but this is like I'm pretty sure this is more like a dark romance. So it's a potential. We have Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. This was definitely gifted to me, ironically, by my husband's grandmother, because she just goes on my Amazon wishlist and buys off of there and doesn't know what any of these books are about. She casually asked me, she's like, what's that one about? I'm like, oh, it's just some romance, and I just left it at that. But we have that option. So another dark romance. We have Survive the Night by Riley Sager. This is one I'm 95% sure my best friend gifted to me, because she has gifted most of my Riley Sager books to me. So it's either this one or The Last Time I Lied, but it could be both, honestly, but I'm pretty sure it's this one, which is a mystery thriller. We have Into Thin Air by John Cracker. I am not sure how you say his last name. That's probably completely wrong. But this one is a nonfiction telling of a horrible, disastrous trip on Mount Everest, which I don't know if any of you, there was a point last year where I was just deep into Everest TikTok, where you just see all the horrors of actually hiking Mount Everest. And it was very intriguing. So this book was talked about quite a bit. So I added it to my wish list and he bought that for me. We have Phantom by Greer Rivers. This is a dark romance retelling of The Phantom of the Opera. The Phantom of the Opera is my favorite classic book ever in the world, and also my favorite musical ever. I saw it on Broadway, and anything I can get that's Phantom of the Opera is a given. Finally, we have the last one by Rachel Housel Hall. This is a fantasy. I have pulled this one before officially on my TBR, and I did not get to it because this ended up being one of the lowest rated books on Goodreads. Usually if I pull a book a second time, definitely if I pull it the third time for my TBR and I don't get to it, then I need to get rid of it. I'm still kind of hesitant on this book. I've been reading a lot of fantasy lately, so I don't feel like this is going to be a contender for this month's TBR. I want to give this book a chance, and I feel like the one time I pulled it, I was in a very bad reading slump, so that really wasn't fair to it. And now with me reading a lot of fantasy, a lot of good fantasy at that, I'm hesitant to jump into this with it just knowing in the back of my mind that it's not as well rated as a lot of other books. So I'm probably not going to pick this one. Honestly, the strongest contenders for me are Phantom, because Phantom of the Opera, and Survive the Night, because we don't have a thriller yet. We already have a dark romance. I feel like it's been a while since I read a thriller. I think last month I read a YA thriller. I think I'm gonna go ahead with Survive the Night. Riley Sager's books are usually pretty bingeable too, so I can probably get done this within a matter of days. So we're gonna pick Survive the Night for that prompt. All right, prompt number 2. There's the prompt. Hopefully you guys can see that. And let's see. The next book in a series. Oh, this is a good one because I just honestly started a bunch of series. Okay, we're gonna go with Killer Instinct by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, because I had the Naturals on my TBR for January, which I did finish. I'll talk about it more in my wrap up, but I all in all did enjoy it, so I went ahead and got the rest of the books in the series off of Pango because I had credits on Pango, and I found a seller who was selling the rest of the books that I needed, and I got free shipping. So it was basically free books, which is great. I'm gonna go ahead and do that one. That one's kind of like another thriller as well, but I flew through that book, so I'm really hoping that'll be another like quick read for me as well. And now for our third and final prompt. Oh, watch. There we go. There is the prompt. So we have a book that starts with the first letter of your name. So that is any book that starts with H. So let's find out what my options are. All right, 3 options. I guess I don't have many books that have a title that start with H, but these are the options. We have Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli. This is book 1 of the Crimson Moth duology about like a witch and a witch hunter fantasy romance kind of thing, which I've heard a ton of good things about this. I'm pretty sure it's YA, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this at least leans more YA than like adult. So this is on the list. We have another fantasy called House of Beating Wings by Olivia Wildenstein. This one, I feel like this one has shifters in it. It's definitely fae. Okay, I'm not sure honestly. There might be shifters, there might not be, but it's definitely a fae fantasy, I'm assuming fantasy romance. And then our final option is a horror novel. This is How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. I feel like Grady Hendrix is kind of controversial. I feel like a lot of people don't like him, but I've enjoyed most of his books. This is a contender. My only thing that's holding me back is I already have basically 2 thrillers, and sometimes horror and thriller go down the same path, I guess is what I want to say. They're very similar in some aspects, especially the way Grady writes his. I feel like his lean more mystery thriller with horror elements per se. So as much as I'd like to choose this, I think I'm gonna go for Heartless Hunter. House of Beating Wings has been on my TBR for a while, but I feel like Heartless Hunter's been about the same. And I honestly haven't heard much about this series. This is the Kingdom of Crow series. So if you guys have heard much about this, let me know. And if this is like, oh my god, you need to read that, absolutely let me know and it will get bumped up on priority. But this is one I honestly wanted to read last fall and I never got to it. So I feel like now's the time to add it to my TBR. Okay, so quick wrap up for everything on my February TBR. We have a book with a pronoun in the title. So we have Her Soul for Revenge, which is the sequel to Her Soul to Take by Harley LaRue. Dark paranormal romance. We have a book with cozy vibes, which I picked Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. We'll see about this one. Cozy is not really my vibe when it comes to books, but maybe this will do it for me. We have a book that was gifted to you, that is Survive the Night by Riley Sager, which is a mystery thriller. We have the next book in a series, which is Killer Instinct by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I don't have the physical copy yet, but it is on the way. And lastly, we have a book that the title starts with the same letter of my first name, which is H. So that is Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli. I feel like we have a pretty decent mix of genres for this month. I feel like last month was a little bit fantasy heavy, but I wasn't mad about it because honestly, I was pretty pleased with everything I read fantasy wise. But I do find if I stick to one genre for too long, then that's when I can end up in a slump. So I try to keep a variety of genres to keep things fresh. I don't know what I want to say, but basically keep me from slumping. So that's everything for today's video. If you guys have any video requests, any prompt suggestions for my TBR, leave that on the comments. And I'd also love to know if you've read any of these books and what your thoughts are. Obviously, please keep things spoiler free. And I'd also love to know what's on your TBR for February. Anyway, that is all for today. I hope you guys have an amazing day and I will see you guys next time. Bye.